Hey divas, it's Ingrid. I thought I'd come on just for a brief moment. I'm taking most of the day off because I've got a bit of a cold and I feel that I need some time to chill, calibrate. I've been holding a lot of space. Hey Sophie, for my dad who was in and out of hospital last week. I've been cooking food, making him comfortable, holding a lot of emotional space. So I'm off for a massage today. Hey gorgeous Ta'aho, hey Kristen gorgeous, hey Adora, hey Sophie. So hey Alison gorgeous. So my energy might be, a little bit softer, but I'm going to talk to you about something so important. I was just speaking to a beautiful student of mine who's an amazing healer and mystic, like really amazing shamanista. Hey gorgeous love day. And she was saying, hey Sheila, she was on a sales call with someone and they were really, had a sticker shock around her value and her prices. And I said, oh, that's interesting. And I said, usually when someone has this sticker shock, which is fine for them to have that, but usually what's also happening is that there's a few things. Number one, you probably have not really owned the value of your work, but usually it's a reflection of what's happening on the inside. So what do I mean by that? So I said to her, so are you internally rejecting your own prices and your own value? Because that's why it's showing up. Because usually, people know what I charge, but also when I say what I charge, I also talk about the return on investment, and I clearly not only verbally communicate the value of the transformation of the work that I'm doing, but I also energetically own it. Now, when I was under earning and, I've literally thrown my hair up here, it's all wet. I literally was cleaning out my makeup drawer today. I looked like horrendous because of this cold. And then I threw on some makeup and then I was practicing my false eyelashes and here I am. Hilarious. Sorry, I just crack myself up sometimes. My life is crazy and the things that I do. But anyway, so I'm just sort of lifting and turning, dissolving, I suppose, the veil. And one of the things is this lack of I suppose also I'm going off on a bit of a tangent, but lack of not needing to feel perfection in any way when we're selling our work, but it's really a reclamation of really owning ourselves and the potency of the transformation. So when you've resolved that within yourself and you really feel that you can claim that for yourself, that feeling of that nasty woman, often we are socialized without even realizing it. There's so many subconscious conditions from pre-birth, as we're coming in from, family kind of heritage. You're born with a belief system, but really at the end of the day, it starts really young, where we're really told in so many ways, women, that we're these nasty women if we really claim our value, that there's an ego to it, or that we shouldn't be doing it, and that in some way we're going to be vilified and judged, and that we're doing something wrong. But I was speaking to another friend of mine, and I want to just tell you, number one, that's a whole complete fallacy. People benefit and profit off us being impoverished, being like sheep, being disempowered. The self-attack serves others, right? Because we're then controlled. That literally, I think it's just a huge percentage of homelessness coming up in Australia and also the USA. And I'm just talking about, first world issues here. I'm not even talking about, second and third world countries who of course have so much poverty and women are struggling deeply. But there are so many homeless women in Australia aged between at least 50 and 60 years of age who gave up their jobs and an income. Hey Sheila, bear with me, I'm a little bit sick, but I hope I'm making a point. Who gave up their income to rear children, to work in the home, right? And, and then if they get divorced and their husbands aren't there any longer to take care of them, they don't have superannuation. And I don't have anything, there's no judgment coming from me. Being a mother who works has its own challenges. But there's so many women, because of this state of like not really owning our own financial power and taking full responsibility for that. We're told be giving, overgive, be there for your children, be there for your friends, be there for your family, be that good woman. And unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't take us very far. It might work for a few years, it might be all hunky-dory, but at the end of the day, your husband ain't a financial plan. You need to have your own money, because unfortunately then so many women, I think it's also 1 in 4 women, end up financially impoverished in the end. So me being a mum and working was challenging, especially when I was waking up 6 or 7 times a night. But I'm so glad that I've done it, because I have a sense of autonomy and authority, right? What was that quote? I don't even know what that was. You know, and it's so important. And I think we need to absolutely release this shame, this internal judgment. So we are always going to be bombarded with messages telling us how we should behave, what is good, what is sin as being a loving, caring, good woman. But you know what I've decided in my life, and it's served me deeply, is that effort to the good woman syndrome, because it's not actually something that I feel that I need to be anymore. Good, nice, your husband and a financial plan, absolutely. So I would rather be known to be empowered, to be fierce, to be loving, to be, yes, I want to be kind, but not at the detriment of my own personal well-being. So I feel that collectively we need to release the shame that is keeping us trapped in this sense of guilt and shame around claiming our power, our voices, our worth, you know, getting out there and claiming and taking a stand for what we believe in. I had a client and a student here who said, you know, do I have permission to speak about money? Do I have permission? I said, stop waiting for external permission. That is going to start to trap you in this. It's like you become needy, right? You become needy. And I've been there waiting for permission to tell you someone that you're worth it, permission to give you the opportunity to speak up for whatever cause it is, racism, women's empowerment, our sexuality, our sensuality, women, whatever it is that you feel, right, that you want to speak about. You don't need external permission. The only permission that you need, it comes from yourself. So it has to come from you, from your own desire. So for me, I want to be expansive. I want to be liberated. I want to be fully expressed. I want to, I don't want to suffer any longer, right? I used to have the most paralyzing self-attack, the way I used to treat myself, because that was the external environment thrown back at me, and then through abuse and my own struggle and I developed this sense of self-attack and almost hatred, right? And I didn't even really realize it was happening, right? Until I was caught in this trap. And so what you need to do, or what I did anyway, and it worked for me, was to start seeing that instead of taking a stand, instead of getting angry, instead of saying, no, enough of this, I will not take on this external abuse and make it my problem. I reject abuse. I reject self-abuse. I'll take the fat on my thighs and my cellulite and my wrinkles, and I will love myself. I will own my voice. I will value myself. I will work. I will make my own money, and I will not wait for permission from anyone, any man, any parent, any husband to give me permission to own and love and honor myself. I spent 20 years in a perpetual state of self-hatred, overgiving, body dysmorphic frigging bullshit, because I bought into the outside noise, right? And instead of dealing with my trauma and loving myself through that, I internalized that grief and the rage and turned it on myself. And how many women do that? It's okay to be angry. Below all anger, I love you too, Fazana. Below all anger is just grief, right? And when we own it and we feel it, and it's okay to take a stand and say, you will not treat me like that, right? But then do not treat yourself like that. So this client who was really, suffering a little bit at the moment with the sticker shock, really, it's actually about her own relationship really with herself. So she's taken on board all this conditioning, all this messaging, and now she's having to unpack it all and say, you know what, I refuse now to buy into this. I refuse to reject and abandon myself. I claim. She's so potently talented, and I'm sharing her story to invite you to look at yourself and say, if I really loved and honored the value of myself and my work, if I really claimed abundance, if I really claimed my power fully, no longer for waiting for external permission, how would that shift my vibration? How would it shift people's perception of me? How would the external reality of my life change? Because once you change your internal reality, I don't get, if people reject my prices and don't want to work with me because they think it's too expensive, that's so fine. One of the things that I've also realized is some people too will fall away, and that is okay. They will fall away. But here's how I see my life and my work. I'm on a freight train. I'm going this way. I know that my work is potent, and I'm not trying to say this to show off. I'm inviting you to say, you know that your work is potent. See your own self on a freight train, like in India. They've got all these people on the train, and some people are falling off because as you're rising up and your vibration is shifting, some people are going to fall off, and that's okay. They may come back. They may jump back on that train, but don't lower your vibration to meet them because you're actually not serving them. You are going down to their vibration. As a leader, as a healer, hey, gorgeous Nikki, as an activator, you have to keep going, right? Full trajectory, full vision. So usually sometimes there's some chaos and there's things moving and shifting and changing and people are falling off. But as you keep going clear on that vision with full momentum, never backing down, never discounting yourself, not hiding your voice, what happens is there are thousands of people hopping on the train with you. There are hundreds and thousands of people who were there saying, yes, I stand with you, I stand for you, right? So I don't worry about the ones falling off. I just was reminded by a client right now, there was a few people that left her list. Every time I friggin' send an email, probably people leave my list. I think 1,000 people have left my email list, for example. There's people that are probably repelled by me, and I don't give a flying whatever, because that's not where my vibration is. I have no judgment. If they want to leave, I don't feel sad about it. I don't feel happy about it. Sometimes I actually feel good about it too, because I know that I'm doing something right, because not everyone is going to be for my message, but I will not dampen my message or turn down my voice to appease or please, because then you're out of alignment. Then you're not fully expressed. You're there basically shaping yourselves to fit in to seeking external approval, right? And there we are mutating, and it goes back to body image as well, shifting, cutting, purging, dieting, restriction. It's restrictive, right? Who wants to live like that, right? So I remember some woman saying, oh, you talked about being in lust with your husband, and I'm so offended by that, and you need to change the way you do things. And I said, yeah, F that, right? I was like, gorgeous woman, you have a choice on how you respond. That actual message, if you listen to the full video, was about having no libido, literally having no full desire and pleasure in my body, because I was so tired and in a state of fight and flight. So if you actually listened to the message and absorbed the message, then you maybe could learn something. But if you choose to be repelled by it, that's okay. I bless you. It's probably better that you leave my list and my tribe and my vibe, because I'm just letting you know that I'm not toning it down to please you, right? And then all the women that really respond to my message, they applaud me. People email me, thanking me, crying in gratitude for me taking a stand. And it's not easy, right? Yes, it makes something, absolutely. It's not easy to have this courage when we've been told to keep it down, that we're not good enough, that we should be embarrassed, that we're nasty women owning our voices and our messages and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? You have to move through it. I really believe that if you want to be an online leader, you have to own your voice. You've got to at some point decide that no matter what, and someone else said that you're gonna voice it, that you're going to take a stand. And another girl in my diva mind was saying something to me that she's just so over herself, and she reached out to me. She said, "Oh my God, Ingrid, I want some tough love." She came in with this full energy. She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna sell, and I'm gonna sell at my retreat." And she was just so like on fire. And then what happens? She retreated back, right? And went into the whole self-attack, the doubt, and that's the sense of almost darkness. And I get it. And she wanted me she saw what she was doing. She wanted me to kind of snap her out of it. She gave me permission to do that. We were having a big joke about it and like laughing at it. So don't put yourself down if you ever get into that pattern of holding back and the resistance. But the resistance does trap you up, and it tends to get worse and worse and worse, but until you feel like you can't breathe any longer. So any advice that I have about this, and this is something that I do every day, like right now I have a cold, I'm going to go and spend my day with my family. I obviously kind of aren't completely stringing it together as well as maybe I would used to, but I just think I've got to express this. I have this to say. And I throw myself on the deep end. I don't want to always do webinars. I don't want to always do all these different things. Sometimes there's a little bit of fear that comes up. Will I be judged? All that kind of stuff. But really at the end of the day, I just take a leap. I take a leap of faith. And my voice and my vision and my desire to serve others and to also be in my own full self-expression far outweighs any fear I have. And so I constantly leap into almost like a new dimension every other day. When I feel that I want to do that, I get ready to go into a new dimension. And I just throw myself out there. And the net that I have to hold me is my own sense of worth, my own sense of trust, my own sense of faith, my own sense of value. And I throw myself out there, right? Literally. And I know that I'm held by myself. I'm held by the divine. I'm held by my own sense of self-love. I'm held by the women in the community that do appreciate it, right? It's beautiful. But really, mostly I'm held by myself, and I've made a vow in my life, and it's really served me well. I've made a vow in my life not to self-attack myself anymore. If I need to rest, if I need to take a pause, if I'm feeling down, if I'm feeling whatever it is, the emotion, I think I've also learned how to be emotionally there for myself and to not feel like a failure and to not feel broken. We don't need to be fixed, divine women. There's some men here. We don't need to be fixed. We're on a journey to remember who we are, to remember our brilliance, our presence, our beauty, our love. You know, even as I'm getting older and the physical is fading, my physicality, you know, I'm getting older and the sunspots and this and the that, I have more love for myself and it comes from not ego, it's from a humbleness. Like, why waste our lives in self-attack? Why hide? Why be in a poisonous kind of vibration with ourselves? Like, we have been taught that. We've been fed a myth from long time ago to judge and attack ourselves. And so I've just made this, you know, it's a journey every day of remembering and falling back more in love with myself, from really also a position of not taking for granted what I do have. There's people more beautiful, probably people more talented, people more this, people more that. I'm not comparing myself to those people. all I'm doing is being the best, I think, expression of my own self. And I realized how poisonous the way that I was with myself for so long. And I'm just giving up that illusion. And I'm not waiting for anyone any longer to give me that permission. So today, the whole point of this video, and I've probably gone around and around in circles, is, you know, when will you, I invite you to put the dagger down. You know, to see, to not be angry with yourself or frustrated with yourself when you're feeling these emotions, but to look at them and say, but is it really true? Is it really real? And what if it wasn't real, right? What if I was one of the most powerful leader diva healers in the world? What if my work, in order for it to be received in the way that it needs to, I need to really deeply honor myself? Because the moment that you shift that vibration, right, into deeply honoring self, you actually have an incredibly high vibration, right? The love vibration is the highest, really, I think. I think that's right. It's one of the highest. Self-love, 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 love, love, love for self-love for others, right? And someone wants to be in my video, but I'm not going to do that right now. Love for self, love for self. And that gives me the courage to serve and to just be there. There's no more, I mean, like, I look at myself sometimes and I'm like, oh my God, you're aging, or oh my God, whatever, and see, you know, and have a little bit of that self-attack. But honestly, a lot of that has just fallen away. And so what I've also found is I'm not confused. I'm not confused about my path. I'm not confused about who I am. I'm not confused about my message. I'm not confused any longer about what I'm here to do and what's important to me and what my values are. I'm not confused because I'm not attacking myself. And I feel that a lot of women, it's hard for them to build sometimes their empires because they're constantly in that state of fight and flight, and a lot of that comes from the internal self-attack. And so we really need to calm ourselves down, and I've been there, so been there with my journey. But if we calm ourselves down, we stimulate the relaxation response. So energetically, literally, our cells, the way our body digests food and assimilates nutrients, the brain is thinking and relating differently because we're no longer in that state of panic and fight and flight and fear-based consciousness, right? So the love takes over, and the way that we look at things and perceive things changes dramatically. So even like the other week, I realized that I still had this level of carrying. There's someone that I was carrying, making sure that I paid her a certain amount in order to make sure that she was okay financially, when I'm not really responsible for her or that. And it was still this level of I need to put other people before my own well-being. So whilst I've worked on it dramatically, there was still that level, a vibrational level of this caretaking that was literally borderline unhealthy for me on some level. Now, I've seen that in myself and that habit in myself and that pattern, but there's always like a deeper level of it, right? Awareness. But now I see it, like it's like the light came off, like I took off my sunglasses and I put on some new contacts, and I'm able to see the things that I'm doing, and no one's to blame for that except it's my responsibility. I've created that reality for myself through my conditioning and my beliefs. So I just look at that with interest and curiosity and love and say, why did I do that? And wow, isn't that interesting? And now what do I do to change that reality for myself, right? What do I do, and what beliefs do I need to release in order to receive a completely new reality? And what do I need to let go of? And then I set about doing that quite swiftly because I've been given the insight, and then I follow the inspiration and I make the change. And then I trust that if I do it from a position of love, that it's not just for my highest good, that it's for the highest good of that person too, because you inspire them to rise up into their own power and to take full responsibility for their lives, right? And to not have like a surrogate, codependent, weird vibration going on, right? Which I was perpetuating. So I don't get angry with myself or anything anymore. I just see it with, oh, that's really interesting. And I understand where that came from and why I did it. And I'm empathetic to myself and anybody else involved, and then I go about rectifying the situation. And so through something like that, I'm going through a massive up-leveling, a massive healing right now in how I honor and take care of myself. And then in doing so, inspire others. They have a choice then. Do they want to rise up and take more responsibility for their own sense of well-being, financial well-being, physical well-being, and their own journey and their own career? Or not? It's up to them, and I'm not responsible for their response, right? I am responsible for being loving, for being ethical, for being from coming from love, not blaming anybody. And that's all I'm really responsible for, right? And honoring my words. So if I promise someone something, then honoring my word, and then shifting things gradually where I'm still honoring my word and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I also just need to honor myself. So one of the beliefs there that might seem really simple for so many people, but because I was sort of energetically blocked, is, Ingrid, it's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to put yourself first. Who can relate to that at all? It's okay to do that. So guys, that's my message for today. I'm going to go rest. I'm going to go chill. I'm going to take some downtime. I'm sending you so much love. You are not a nasty woman at all. You being empowered, you honoring your voice, you claiming the value of your work. I just got a message to put myself first yesterday. Yes, Jessica. It is not selfish. It is self-serving when we do it with love and ethics and transparency, clearly communicating to people the choices that we're making and why we're making them, because no one ever does anything to us, right? We create it. And I'm just inviting you, even say you could just do it even for the next 24 hours as a ritual. For the next 24 hours, I invite you to put the dagger down and to just love yourself and to relax and surrender into a place of feeling really safe, very protected, very grounded, very connected to your own power and your own value. And what I do, what I'm really shepherding in and bringing in and cultivating a whole new reality for myself, is to embody the frequency of that new reality, right? So what I mean is, I want you to take time to really visualize and feel into what it would be like for you to receive whatever it is that you desire. So what do you desire? And then what would it be like and feel like for you to already have that, right? And that's how I manifest a lot of amazing stuff in my life, right? The connection, the love, the intimacy that I want, the playfulness in my home, my health, the students that I've attracted into my yummy, beautiful vortex. I already felt and attuned into them before I received them on a physical level, right? So, I wrote a post the other day, you can't manifest abundance in your new reality from a position of lack. So you have to raise your vibration to trusting deeply that you will receive it, knowing truly what it is that you desire, and then call that forward through your energy. Then that energy moves into deliberate action and intent. Someone asked me, what really works for you with manifesting? Having a very, very clear vision, trusting it, believing it, honoring it, watering it, being very deliberate with the actions that you need to take to bring it forward, resting and relaxing into it when you need to stop and just conjure and hold space for it, then going back into the action of what you might need to do, resting, recalibrating, releasing what no longer serves you as you're healing and up-leveling, and before long, you will have that reality. You will have that reality on the physical existence, right? But it always starts with an internal, right, energetic shift first. So whenever I'm not really truly in alignment, if a fear comes up, if I'm feeling tired, I have learnt to rest, recalibrate, reset, go into deep, deep self-love practices, whether it's watching chick flicks, purging, clearing out of an emotion, doing my bathing rituals, having a bath, sleeping, I do a process called my manifestation nap, where I just put my head on a pillow and I tune into it. I ask Creator and the Divine to support me, and I'm almost getting emotional when I do this. And I just ask, what do I need to do? Who do I need to be? What do I need to release? What is my next step? And then I get my ass out and I start doing what I need to do in order to receive that reality. Step by step, day by day, moment by moment. Right? Okay, guys, I'm sending you so much love. Have a beautiful, 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 beautiful day. You are one of the most powerful, gorgeous women on this planet. It is time to rise. It is time for you to claim it. It is time for you to love yourself with full abandon. It's time for you to own your voice. It is time to be seen. It is time to unlock the chains, woman. It is time to live in ecstasy. It is time for you to just be and express all that you are, because you don't need to be anything more than what you are today. You just need to release the illusion of your friggin' not enoughness. It is boring as all F. It is a friggin' illusion. Let's put it down. Let's put it to bed. And let's claim our holy divine divinity. Mwah. Sending you so much love.